welcome to today's Trainerize Collective. Today we are talking about content and community, how to build your brand through social media. My name is Michelle Riley, and I am also one of the instructors on the ABC Trainerize e-course that has recently launched. I am the owner and founder of Fierce and Fit, which is my women's online training and nutrition coaching app, as well as my Michelle Riley Biz, which is my business coaching and mentorship website for those coaches who are aspiring to be online trainers full time. So I am here joined by three awesome other coaches. We have Ty McMath from the Union Fit Club. So Ty is the founder of the Union Fit Club, a groundbreaking wellness social hub that offers a wide range of offerings, including cycling, yoga, group fitness, cold plunge, sauna, as well as nutrition support. Plus, the Union is an incubator for independent fitness professionals and provides fitness professionals with studio space to create content, hold photo shoots, and even record podcasts. Ty is renowned for his work building Torch Fitness, a company that transformed the fitness industry by producing custom fitness amenities specifically designed for multifamily communities. And we also have Natalie Huerta from the Queer Gym. And Natalie Huerta, or Coach Nat, is the founder of Queer Gym, which is the first dedicated LGBTQ gym in the nation. The gym originally opened in Oakland, California in 2010 before moving to completely virtual experience over the last few years. The Queer Gym offers both small group training of no more than 20 people per class, as well as one-on-one coaching for fitness and nutrition. And lastly, we have Chris Gethin from Chris Gethin Coaching. And Chris Gethin is one of the most decorated names in the world of fitness today. He's been voted the world's #1 trainer twice. Chris has been hired to coach some of the most celebrated names in Bollywood and is the co-founder of the gym franchise, Chris Gethin Gyms. He has built an extremely impressive name for himself as the go-to man of the world of transformations with over 150 million users of his transformation programs. So welcome everybody here.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. So yeah, these are some big names here, some heavy hitters. So it's really awesome that we're all here just to kind of gain the experience and really share the knowledge of the whole social media marketing and really putting yourself out there, especially as an online trainer in person. I definitely have some input to give to this as well too. So to just start us off, what's one trend you're loving for you or your community with the content and social media right now? So I'll just let one of you all kind of take it away and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so the one thing that I'm really liking at the moment is like the AI powered sort of content, that is, going out there, and, the customer service that is AI driven. The other thing that I'm liking as well, particularly with my clients, is that more and more people are asking about longevity, health span benefits. It's not just the aesthetics anymore. I see Ty's putting his thumb up because I love hearing that he's all about sauna and steam bath, detoxing, collating. So that's the one thing that I really like because it's like another form of accountability. If I have a client that's a parent, I'm like, okay, that's great because I have another form of accountability to inspire them by. But this longevity aspect that seems to be becoming more and more popular, and as we know it as biohacking, is really creating a lot more accountability there. So I like that trend.
Yeah, I'm with Chris on that. I'm loving the longevity, the recovery, just to hear clients and fitness professionals talk about longevity and that being kind of like a goal for not only themselves but their clients. I remember, I'm 43 years old, so I'm going to date myself here, but I remember when everything was just looking good for the summer, or a six pack, or, getting, fine by, the Christmas time and all that type of stuff. So hearing people talk about, look, I want to live 100 years in the best, shape of my life, mentally, physically, spiritually. I just think that's amazing just to hear like the social responsibility of fitness professionals and clients. And just I'm also loving the education that clients and our fitness professionals are seeking now. That's just going on online. Like, I love to see how many people are coming into our industry just thinking education first. They want to understand exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it, how long they should do it. They're doing their own research. Just the education and the longevity has me fired up for our industry.
Anything about you, Coach Nat? Anything that you're kind of loving in the trends right now?
Yeah, I am loving how the responsibility is now on the content creators, the coaches, to not suck because the industry is really saturated. And I like that it's an accountability both ways, right? It's for the client to comply on their end, but it's also if you suck at coaching, you're going to lose a client because there's constantly people coming after that same client. So I like that shift and like the accountability going both ways. I think that's refreshing, and I'm up for the challenge.
All right, so Chris, this next question is for you. You kind of went in line with the biohacking of it, like really lighting that trend. So is there like a specific type of content that you find is really most attractive for attracting those new clients, or it really goes into that biohacking, or is there any other kind of inputs that you might have?
Well, I think it's more so from personal experience. So I first had my biological age tested in 2014, and it was several years older chronologically. So my goal was then to reverse it year by year, and I've been able to reverse it down to 26 biologically, even though I'm chronologically 50. And when I put that out there, a lot of people, they light up. I'm like, oh my God, how can I do it? How can I quantify it and measure it? Well, here's the program to follow. Maybe we'll put them through a DNA test, blood test, etc. Here's the program, and then here's the accountability to reverse your biological age. So I find, because of all the quantification and the gadgets that we have now, we all have Aura rings or Ultra rings, and we have the 24-hour blood glucose monitors, and then we have this as well. I think all this form of quantification really, really does attract them and gets them bought in.
Right. So that posts alone, that's like, hey, this is how this is going to work. This is XYZ, the plan that's going to get you there. It's almost like a taste, and then they're coming in.
Exactly. Direct message me for details.
Correct. So then, Ty, kind of in the same lieu of that conversation, that question. So how can coaches craft content that not only builds engagement but also leads to that client inquiries and sales? So kind of like what tactics can coaches use to convert followers into those leads?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still stuck on Chris being 26. I mean, wow, that's amazing, brother. Good job, man.
I sleep well. I sleep well. I'd
That
say
is
that's the biggest
you
biohack.
do. That is impressive. But Michelle, I think it kind of goes back to what Natalie was saying. I think the best message right now is being authentic. Being authentically like yourselves. People are so educated. People sense bullshit. People know. And I think being authentic is getting like the winners like closer. It's helping fitness professionals out. Just be yourself. Stay in your lane. If you're new to this, it's okay to be new. Say that you're learning. Say that you're growing. If you've been around for a while, like Chris, like Natalie, I think you should talk about it and you should brag about it. I think nowadays we kind of call it being humble, but in business, you have to lead with knowing what you know. You have to put it out there. And I'm seeing coaches that's being authentic, they're winning. The coaches that's real, authentic, confident, and saying what they know, they're winning. And I think that content is leading. That's how they're converting clients right now.
I think that's a huge one to talk about. We might talk about that a little bit further, but being authentic in your own voice. I know for me, as I call myself the trainer for the modern woman, pre and postnatal, like I'm just showing my clients where I am in my life. And that's what's really attracting them to me. They'll reach out via my DM, via my Instagram stories and say, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. Please help me. I'm just postpartum. I really need this help. And I feel like I'm really having that relationship with you, even behind a screen. So I think that's all incredible. So then I'll just go into the community aspect as we go in. So, Nat, what strategies are key to creating a sense of community online, even if an audience started small? So this is kind of building on to what we're talking about. So I'll let Coach Nat take this one away.
Yeah, one thing that's worked for me really well building my community is that, sometimes clients will come to me for the fitness stuff, but they don't really want like the community. They're like, I just want to get my stuff done. Other times it's the complete opposite of that. But one thing that's worked for me really well is connecting, like curating the community experience for them. Like, hey, maybe you don't want to jump right into, big ass group chat, but maybe I can connect you in a smaller chat with XY client. They're going through the similar thing. So it's almost like I have little pods that then kind of helps them break the ice into the bigger community, because not everybody's like extroverted trying to like be everybody's bestie. They need a little bit of just like, let me just go to the club with my friend and like experience it together at that point. And also just like, think of it like being a wingman, but like for community. I take that approach, and that seems to work well for me.
Especially within your niche as the trainer LGBTQ community, it's really important to kind of have that hand holding and that starting that small pod and then kind of growing in your community from there. So I think that's really special that you're able to deliver that. Anybody else kind of have inputs on strategies to creating that sense of community within your own niche?
Yeah, I was gonna say I just love uh, when fitness professionals find their niche. I've always heard niches make you riches, and like in those old books. But seriously, like finding your niche, I think when we say community, they think it's all for everybody. And yes, there's a club, right, that everybody can go to. But I do want to speak to whether that's that former athlete. For me, I love working with fitness professionals. Like we have a 12,000 square feet gym, but I'm really targeting fitness professionals. And then I'm targeting fitness professionals that want to scale their business, that want to make a certain amount of money. That doesn't mean that we don't want the newcomer or whoever, but this is who I find that's best for my genius zone. This is who I have a passion for. This is who I wake up, go to sleep thinking about. And so like that's okay to say, hey, this is who I like working with. And then I find myself referring people to people like Chris or people like Natalie because that's probably best for them to work with Chris or Natalie or another fitness professional or Michelle. And so, like, I just think that there's freedom in finding that niche and simplifying, repeating that message and like living there. And so many times I have many people ask me, "Hey Ty, what about this or what about that?" And I said, "Nope, we're focused on multifamily. We're focused on apartments. We're just going to do that." And at that time, that's all we did. And so now we're doing the same thing and we're seeing results. And I see other people doing the same thing.
Exactly. And
I
then,
want to,
well, yeah. Oh, sorry.
I'd like
Continue.
to add something to what Ty's saying. In terms of like referring people that, are looking for something that's outside of your niche. I think one of the key things in community is trust. And, so maybe for example, I've worked with a client who's done with the weight loss and now they want to go into powerlifting. Not my jam, but looking at that client and being like, hey, congratulations, bro, you graduated. I don't think it makes sense for you to continue here. I think I can serve you better by pointing you in this direction. I think that sense of trust really solidifies a community, because there is no community without trust.
For sure. And kind of on top of that, like when you do build your community, how do you maintain that and how do you keep those people coming and buying those programs and client retention? So I'll kind of let Chris take this one away since he's had so many transformations and you have that big program as well.
Yeah, so I do like challenges. People are, whether we like it or not, people are incentivized with financial gift or whatever, and it gives them that sense of urgency. So that usually creates, number one, a community to begin with. But what I'll do, like once a year for me, myself personally, I'll actually go through a transformation with them. So everybody kind of sees that. Look, I always say knowledge without mileage is bullshit. So I try to, put in the mileage so the knowledge comes over just a little bit more authentic. And they can see the struggles that I go through like everybody else does. We travel, we have lost loved ones to deal with, all these sort of things, sickness. So when people see that and see that, okay, you're not just working out for a living, because they all think that we're invincible, I think that sheds a little bit more authenticity to create that community bond a little bit more.
Right. I think that's really important too. And kind of going back to the voice of being authentic and being like, hey, even though I am this role model in health and I'm doing all of the things, life gets in the way too. And this is how I'm authentic and this is how I stay true to my own message and continue purchasing my programs, what have you. I think that's all super important as well as we go take them through our kind of like journaling, not only with social media, but into our own lives. Which leads me into this next question, and this is for everyone, whoever wants to go first, is Social media is a huge undertaking. So, how can coaches today find that balance between harnessing the power of content, building that community on social media, while not letting it take over their lives and their business? And what is the line between being an influencer or a creator? I know for myself, I'm more of like a creator, but there is a line. So, I'll kind of let anybody who wants to take this one away.
So I originally have built my business primarily using Facebook ads and Instagram ads, TikTok ads. I stopped that strategy earlier this year, and basically I was like, I need to stop that and I need to really get down this content game. So that was my scary commitment to figuring out content because I couldn't ride the safety of running the ads. And so one of the things that I've been going through this last couple of months is, ultimately I think the goal is like not to create, to document, right? But I think before you can, just document your life, there's a couple of steps that I've figured out. The first thing for me has just been like, you just gotta, just the reps, like embrace the suck and just rep it and rep it and rep it and rep it. And through those reps, I have been able to find like a system that works for me. Everybody kind of has their own system that they trademark and call it this or whatever, but like, I'm kind of ending up with little bits and pieces of different systems to create my own. And then that plus the reps, I'm just getting to the point now where I'm not so much like creating, but like more so documenting. Like, all right, I'm out in the gym and I'm just going to whip out my phone. Like, I don't have that same intimidation factor that I did before. I don't have to like run it through my system. It becomes more organic, and I ultimately like organic media, like organic social media. That's the whole point. But for me, it's taken reps to come up with a system with more reps to then get to the point where now I'm comfortable just simply documenting.
Mm-hmm. So kind of like the practice makes perfect type of thing, and just kind of putting yourself out there, having your base method of systems of posting, and then just kind of documenting throughout and putting it along within your system. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. And what about you, Chris? Is there like some kind of rule that you go with kind of balancing that social media and life in general? Like, what are your kind of ways to do it?
Yeah, I'm one of those people that kind of posts and ghosts. I make sure that I have that cadence where I post on a daily basis, but I couldn't even tell you the last time I look at someone's stories. I'm just not that kind of person. And I feel to a certain degree, you have to live the life that you're trying to engage your community to engage. So, I ask all of my clients to bookend their day at least an hour before bed, no phone, at least an hour after waking, no phone. So I feel, it requires a form of discipline, but that discipline has a transcendence effect into other areas of their life where they are possibly going to do things that they don't want to do on the days that they don't want to do it, like eat good food, especially when they're emotionally exhausted. So, that's why I have clients to do a cold shower or an ice bath in the morning, again, just to create that form of resilience. Mm-hmm. And when you mention about influencer and educator, I'm definitely more of an educator, but we are influencing people at the same time. So I guess there's a balance between the both. But I guess how I try to educate a little bit more is, as Natalie and Ty were mentioned, is just putting out content. A lot of content that, okay, maybe I'm not going to film my entire workout, so I'll just film an exercise at the very least. Just to maybe talk about that exercise, just to give them a little bit more education on what it could, how it could relate to them.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Can I add something else to that?
Yeah, of course, please.
One of my values is live what you lead. So I'm out here leading my clients to better habits, things like that. Obviously, I have to be living it, but just simply like documenting and the little things that you don't think people give a fuck about, like your same ass fucking breakfast you have every day, the same workout time, like that consistency that you're leading and then you're living and documenting. I don't really necessarily like try to balance it. To me, it just interweaves. Like if I'm out here preaching XYZ, I'm doing XYZ, here's a receipt. Mm-hmm. And just let it flow. And equally, when you are off the wagon and shit hit the fan, like being authentic, being real, being honest about that. Like people are like, oh, like you're human. Like you just don't fuck up ever. Like I can relate to that that builds trust, because we really are in this like trust recession around just so much saturation in the industry, that what is that little thing that you do, and vulnerability and the way that we show up through vulnerability, I think is really where the magic has been for me, at least.
Yeah, and I kind of think so too. Is the line between like an influencer and creator? Like you see the influencers out there just pushing, pushing, pushing products, but it's almost like how much are they actually using it versus the creator, the educator who is like, this is the product that I'm using today, and this is how it's using helping me now and in the future. So there's that fine line too that I really like to help coaches understand when they're like, oh, how am I going to post on social media now? I just have to link everything to every apparel, everything. I'm like, no, no, no. Take a step back. Use it the way that you are authentically going to use it in your everyday life for yourself and for your clients as well. So I think that's important to talk about as well. So this next one is pretty fun. If a post goes viral, this is for anyone to join in. If a post goes viral, whatever that means for your account, what steps should be taken to convert that interest into followers and to paying clients? Because the reason I say that is sometimes when a post goes viral, you get all those thousands and thousands of followers, but nothing happens from that. So what are actions that you might take in your specific platform?
I don't know if I've had anything go viral, but if it was to go viral, then, number one, if you are getting an influx of questions, making sure that you're answering every comment and DM. And, further from that, if these new followers have just come on board, the content straight after really needs to be honed in and fine tuned. So what I find for me is that before and after pictures of clients, I work every time. So maybe I would actually double down on those transformation images.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And then for me, when I post something and I collaborate with Trainerize via my Michelle Riley Biz Instagram, I have to make sure that I have my freebies there. I have all of my magnets that are there in line so that once they click into my profile, because I always say my Instagram is almost my business card. It's almost my portfolio. Everything is there exactly where I need it to be. My bio is exactly niched the way it needs to be niched, and taglines for that specific people who are coming in, who I want to work with as well. I don't know if anybody else kind of has anything to add about that, and not necessarily viral on social media, but maybe you're doing an in-person event and you're kind of just shuttling people in through your Instagram. Is there anything you need to set up?
I would just say being prepared. I think everything's about being prepared for the success of whatever, whether it's going viral or an amazing event, or say if this talk is amazing and it goes viral, right? Just being prepared with your bio, whether it's LinkedIn, follow up, like Chris said, before and afters. I just think a lot of times people aren't prepared, even like mentally prepared for the stress that sometimes going viral, because you're now catching up to the likes of the followers, and now you're trying to figure out, oh, what should I sell them? So I just think in everything you should just be prepared. So whatever you're posting or whatever you're doing, prepare as if it's gonna go viral. So what's next? What's your next 10, or what's your next follow up? So what's your next podcast? I know, like, even after this talk, we have talks set up with other companies just to kind of keep the flow going. So I think it's important just to be prepared as a fitness entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. And I will also say with going viral, it's almost like the stars have to align, like the timing, the post of it, the algorithm of it. So even if you're posting something, this is just kind of for trainers, not to other coaches posting, not to get overwhelmed. Like, don't not post something just because you don't think it's going to be the trend. It's literally like it has to be the perfect storm of everything for something to go viral. Not saying that it's not going to, not saying that, it will never happen, but I just also want to say that, like, not all of your posts are going to have zillions of views, especially when you're starting out. So it's just, I always say it has to be like the perfect storm. But like you said, Ty, like, make sure all of your posts are prepared. Like, all of the things that you're doing are preparing if that moment were to happen. But then kind of leading us into the next question, which, what tactics, which may be offline or outside of social media, could trainers use to build more of brand awareness within their community? For instance, like speaking engagements and things like that. So not necessarily within social media. Chris, I saw you doing this.
Yeah, so I've spent a lot of time on the road this year, traveling, speaking at events, because that is a great lead magnet, where you can promote what you do, your company, without selling anything. You're obviously leaving the unbiased decision to the consumer after you've educated them. So that's been really good. There's a lot of expos. I own a supplement company, so whenever that supplement company is exhibiting, I will try to make it as well. So that's another form of engagement, interaction, and some get-togethers of clients, whether it be here or in the UK, US, I should say, US and the UK, where we will have like every 6 months, we'll have an event in the UK for all clients and one in the US for all clients. And this is basically free of charge.
Wow.
It's paid for within their monthly reoccurring program, so that just provides more value and another opportunity to engage. Because as Natalie said, some people are introverts, but when they actually come to one of these events, maybe they open up and they feel so much better. And now they're engaging within the online community more.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. I know, that's been a big one for me too, is just putting myself out there. People are, trainers are like, oh, we have to do all this stuff on social media now. Well, we can't forget that we also have to have the actual physical FaceTime of it too. Speaking, if you're, writing books. I know my sister and I just wrote a book, and that's been a really good way to have those kind of meet and greets, those book signings. So I don't know if Natalie or Ty have anything to kind of put forth towards that as well.
Yeah. Well, first off, I'm gonna look up that book. What's the book called?
Oh, so I'm a certified personal trainer, nutrition coach, and my sister is a certified financial planner. So we call ourselves the Health and Wealth Sisters. So we wrote a book called The Health and Wealth Sisters 360 Action Plan for modern women trying to really put themselves first.
Come on, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna be on it now. But no, I'm doubling down on my tribe and collaboration. Like I'm wherever my tribe is, I'm going to them. I'm collaborating, like you said, Michelle. Like I'm doing collaborative posts. We're using our content studio for collaboration. We're using our fitness hub for collaboration. I'm just really, even like brand partners that we have, really being this thing together and just collaborating and finding my tribe. And I'm showing up wherever they're at. So whether that's a convention, a trade show, a networking session, anything, I'm just showing up wherever they're at. And I'm being engaged. I'm noticing that that's really working for myself and my team.
I'm much more low key about it. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna run this turkey trot. Like, I'm gonna be at this club. I'm gonna go to this gay pride. And I've actually, when I travel, I was in Maui not long ago, and I was like, I'm in Maui, and I just had followers be like, oh shit, let's grab coffee. Let me take you to the hike. And I think just showing that I'm approachable and that it doesn't need to be this big event or this big hoopla or this, go to Tahiti with me or something, spend bunch of money on it. Like, it's just be like, hey, I'm flying in LA. I'm going to be doing a turkey trot. Come do it with me. I think that sense of accessibility and just like low keyness makes it more likely for somebody to be like, yeah, okay, where I see that they're meeting up with so and so follower and they don't have to be a client and they can just go hang out. I think it just makes me much more approachable. And it also, like, I don't have to go and do all the fucking planning and all that. Like, I'm not interested in that. I just want to go and hang out, grab coffee, go on a hike with you. Just like real chill, real low key.
Yeah. So there's always ways to do that. Social media doesn't have to be daunting. We could use it as a tool, but also just putting yourself out there, putting your brand out there, putting your face out there to create that brand awareness. So that's all really, really wonderful. I think that's something that coaches can really understand and not be so overwhelmed by social media as they build into it, which leads me wonderfully into this next question. It's for everyone. So for trainers who feel like they're screaming into the void, as we've talked about this whole time, there's so much information out there. There's so much noise out there. What advice would you give to help them start building that momentum and visibility, even starting with 10, 50 followers, which is okay. So do you have any kind of...
Yeah, I'd say it's, staying consistent. That's the main thing. It's not just Monday to Friday. It's throughout the weekends as well. And that's where usually people do fall up short. And you have to be authentic to that, as we've mentioned before. But I have found that just, being consistent, of course, there's always going to be content out there that is going to contradict each other. I was the editor at bodybuilding.com many, many years ago. All the content that would come in and that we would publish to some degree would contradict each other, but it didn't mean it was wrong. So I guess, you have to help the people and the clients find out which is the best program for them. Is it a 5-day split? Is it a 3-day split? Is it a fasting protocol, keto, whatever it may be, whatever kind of works specifically for your community.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that too, I think I would do what Chris told people to do earlier, like post and ghost. Like too much education for young fitness professionals and too much research sometimes it just cripples them. Looking at different competition, they're already trying to be Natalie, or they go in trying to be you, Michelle. I think sometimes like posting and ghosting, just kind of staying consistent. And sometimes to be consistent, you have to be kind of like very focused, very streamlined. Don't get distracted, and limit like all those other things. Just the noise. Just limit the noise. There's always more things coming at you. So as a young fitness professional, as a young trainer, I just say like Chris said, post and ghost. Just be you. Stay consistent.
Yeah, I have three things that come to mind. I think one, let's say that you don't have a lot of followers, but and I think there could be a lot of focus on deepening that connection with the followers that you have via, telling your personal story is a great way to connect with people. Like you don't need to have a shit ton of followers, but the ones that you have, it's more important that they really actually fuck with you and like stick around with you and ride with you. The second thing is numbers. Like you post a video and 200 people watch it. Imagine going to the club and talking to 200 fucking people in that club about your shit. Like that's still way more efficient. And third is fuck around and find out. Like try different stuff, different content, master classes, blogs. Like fuck around and find out, but fuck around long enough to really find out. Because if you fuck around and you do it for a week and you're like, nah, like you suck. It's the first week you've been doing it. Like give it a little, fuck around a little bit longer so that you actually really find out. And just have fun with that, I think. So yeah, those would be the three things that I have found helpful with that.
Yeah.
Michelle, can I add? I just want to add to that too. I, by the way, I love fuck around and found out. That's just awesome. That's the quote for this whole thing. But like, if you're doing that, like, it's okay to get data. Like, get data so you can actually look at what worked, what didn't work. We have so many people that's just like willy nilly about it. Like, get data. Everything you do should be like a data point. Like, even like when I'm doing these talks, I'm looking at nods. So I know, oh, that worked, or maybe that didn't. Or I'm looking at smiles. Like, everything should be like capture the data, see what works, talk to the people that love you, your tribe, and really ask them. Like, because some people just like you, but like really ask them what works, what don't work, and just like get the data. Don't just try things without getting the data. I see that a lot.
Yeah, it's very intimidating. I understand social media, especially people just starting out. I understand that, but just put yourself out there because there's people that are trying to find you and exactly what you are doing and serving for that specific population. So I think this is all wonderful information that we need to keep kind of pushing out there for coaches who are like, oh, well, they're already doing it out there. Yeah, but they're not you doing that and doing it within your specific target audience. So kind of wrapping this all up, like what is maybe one piece of advice that you're going to give somebody or a takeaway that somebody is going to get from this Trainerize collective? We can kind of go in a round robin. So we'll start with Chris first.
Okay, so kind of lending what Ty and Natalie said, is well, number one, being consistent, as I mentioned before, and finding that niche. What is that niche specific for them that they have a passion about, and then just do it. For instance, if trainers come up to me and say, "Look, I really want to be a transformation coach," then I'll always tell them, "Then go through a transformation yourself." Document it, put it out there, create that authenticity, but you have to be consistent. One of the most powerful things that I've done in the past, I'll do like 12-week videos 12-week video series, but it's a video every single day. You know, it is a monster to actually do and edit and publish, but it really creates, a great loyal following, but that's my niche. I did begin to train a lot of hybrid athletes, so like triathletes. So I decided, okay, I'm going to go and do some Ironman because I can't really help them unless I've really experienced it myself, or I'm just going to push them onto another trainer, which I have. So those are some of the fundamentals that I find that people can do.
Mm-hmm. That's a great takeaway, especially for those who are just kind of like trying to understand where to go from it. Coach Nat?
You don't lose if you learn.
That's a good one, for sure. That's a good quote to live by. Yeah.
I would just say, like, I think everybody on here, I mean, I'm so impressed by the resume, seriously. Not just saying that, like, for real. And we've probably done millions of dollars and helped thousands of people and built all these communities. But when you look at the screen, we're not special. I think the genius thing that we all did was just not quit. We just kept fighting. And so I would tell anybody, like, just don't quit, keep fighting, like, keep trying, find your niche. But like, the people that's been successful, I've been in those rooms, like, they're not that special. Like, they're smart, but they're not that special. You're closer to, that place than you think. And a lot of times we get intimidated because we look at Chris's resume and we look at Natalie's resume and we look at Ty's resume or Michelle, and we think like, oh my God. Like, no, they just didn't quit and they found their niche. So just don't quit.
I love that. There's definitely some great takeaways and great information that we've packed into this Trainerize collective. Not just about social media, but as all these amazing coaches that are saying, just that consistency, the discipline, the ambition, the grit to continue doing what you're doing. So that was awesome. Thank you everybody for joining this Trainerize collective, and we will see you soon.